the Dean and CEO of Dhirubai, Ambani International School, Mr. Basu, distinguished deans, principals, educators, teachers, best students, and friends of IB. I would like to actually shortly share with you the reasons why at the first place we came up with the idea of Festival of Hope. It kind of happened about a year ago when we looked at the feedback that we were getting from IB students. And we also looked at the research surveys done around the globe, that how young people were feeling about their own well-being, their views, their values, their insights about the future. And I must say that that was, to a certain extent, it was quite a grim view that, and the picture that was drawn with that. The survey said that the majority of 10 to 12-year-olds were suffering of climate anxiety. Out of 17 to 25-year-old young people, 75% said that the future is a scary place for them. And too big a number actually of those believed that the world will come to an end during their lifetime. And that kind of messages really got us thinking. What is our responsibility as an educational organization? And we definitely saw that this can go kind of two ways. There's a possibility that with that kind of views of the future, a large part of our young generations will turn into cynicism and apathy. But we saw also that there's another alternative, that with that anxiety, there's a lot of energy in it. That if we can do something to help to steer that energy in a hopeful way toward action, that would be something definitely worth trying. And that was the first time when we started creating inside the IB with Jennifer and Tim, the ideas that what could it be? And after kind of workshopping about all this, there were a few ideas that we were pretty certain about. The first one was that the thing we wanted to do must come from the students. We must be capable of creating safe spaces for students to bring up their views, to be heard and to know to be heard. When we started kind of creating that kind of safe spaces, we heard from the students telling us that, please, don't come to these events and tell us that you must be resilient. They told us that we've heard that message already, we know that. But they were also saying that, help us. We have the power, we have the visions, we have the energy, what we have been seeing and experiencing on this stage today, and with those exhibitions on the back of this room. But they said that we don't entirely know how to make those visions and those views to become reality. You are more experienced. You have been here on this earth for a longer period of time. You have experienced how to do it. So there was a very strong call for intergenerational dialogue. And with those ideas, we started first in Chicago with the Chicago Public School District. And that was the first experience. We didn't quite know what will turn out. And we experienced a very meaningful session where young people were sharing their deepest views, threats, fears, challenges. Then we moved to UWC Atlantic in Wales. And again, the event was very different, but it was kind of very authentic in the message that young people told us. They were telling us that we are here not only for ourselves, but we are here for the students in 1,000 years to have a flourishing life. And I think that's a very, very strong message, not only about thinking for yourself, but for thinking about the generations past, present, and future. And now we have had the pleasure this week to experience 2 festivals of hope, the first in New Delhi, and now this second one here in Mumbai. And had the pleasure also of so many schools throughout the whole India to take part in this Festival of Hope. And again, this has been a different event. And those events, those 2 ones we have had here. But again, very unique and very strong with their messages. The interesting thing is that although the events have been different, the views of the young people have been very similar. We have heard a lot of discussion about identity issues, how young people are struggling with, in a complex world, that what is the identity that they are having and what are the expectations that the society and the world around them lays on them. We have heard a lot of discussion about DEI questions. We have had a lot of kind of not only worries, but also answers. What to do with climate change, what to do with the loss of biodiversity and other challenges that we have in connection with the nature. It is sometimes said that we cannot know the future. I think we actually can. We can know the future by listening to the young people. Because the things that they are telling, that what are important for them, those are the things that will be the reality in the future. And we have been shown today what the future will look like. Again, after this experiencing, I feel that I have a little bit of better view what the future will look like. And I'm so thankful for that, for all the young people truly sharing what they love what is meaningful for them, what are the things that they are ready to do their best to make a difference in this world. So I think that what I have felt with this week's event, what is very special here in India. And there are kind of two things that have astonished me strongly. The first one is the widely experienced and felt commitment towards education. And of course, it's no surprise for me that if I visit and talk with the State Secretary in the Ministries of Education that he tells me that education is important, or that I visit schools that I hear that message. But that's not what I'm referring to. It's the thing that when I read the local newspapers, I see a lot of news about education. It is that I talk with somebody that I've met before on the plane, and that person not knowing who I am, very strongly emphasizing how important education is to this nation and to the world. And I think that is something that makes me very hopeful for this nation. I think you have in that some valuable ingredient that I think we all have to do our best to make sure that it is safeguarded. The other thing that I've been very impressed by is the deep spirituality that I'm hearing everywhere. The deep thinking in young people about life, about kind of what it means to be truly human. And we heard on Monday one of the young people telling about the concept, what it is of kind of wise child, that we quite often kind of feel that wisdom is something that becomes only with age. But maybe that is a misinterpretation and misunderstanding. Maybe it's the one that we older people want to interpret it in that way. But could it be that in the child's context, you can be very wise? And in the context of living as a young people, you can learn to be very wise in that context. And that's the wiseness that I have felt during my stay in India. I want to let you all to have lunch. But before that, I would like to use this opportunity to thank you all for organizing this Festival of Hope today. Thank you for the DAIS, all the personnel, the organizing committee, all the presenters here that we have seen. You have made our day a special day. I feel that I have learned so many new things today that I didn't know before in the different innovations that we've been hearing of. And that is really the future that we are there hearing. I think that this day gives so much hope and energy, because you have showed us that hope it's not only a word or a kind of a vague wishful thinking, but it is action, but it is even more. It is a way of looking at the world. It's not kind of doing some one thing, but it is about living your way in a certain way, living your life in a certain way. And that's something that I've learned today. And I think that's something that we who have been planning Festivals of Hope really hadn't understand this deeply, what we have understood today. And I think I would like to end with a quote which I think describes it well. It's the quote that says that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's the hopeful future that you have shown us all today. Thank you so much.